Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at another legend here with Toxapex, by the way. Look at that animation. I've never really noticed that, but that's kind of cool. But yeah, today we're going to take a look at another legend team here from a good friend of mine as well, Leandro, who is also one of the judges for most tournaments in Europe, at least for all those Pokemon Go tournaments. So shouts to you. Congrats on hitting legend with this very interesting team, I would say. It is a very, very interesting team, and going into this battles, or like going into this team in general, I was not really expecting too crazy good results. Why? Mainly because this team struggles a little bit with the backline against Mud Boys. Mud Boys are quite common, but also this is kind of an unbalanced team, and unbalanced teams are kind of great at overpowering some type of teams in certain matters. And for example, you're going to have 3 water type Pokemon here, so any Talonflame, gone, does nothing against this team. A lot of times, like, there are so many Pokemon that are going to be weak against, like, I actually did not know that there's Talonflame in the first battle, by the way. This was kind of unintentional, but it is kind of hilarious because it's literally fitting. But, like, there are quite a lot of Pokemon that are going to struggle against water-type Pokemon, like a Skarmory. Or also, our backline is going to be both Poison, which is going to be great against the Vigoroth with Counter. And so you can kind of overpower Pokemon, but you have to be careful, because if you're going to end up in a scenario where your lead is already gone and the opponent is going to have in the back only kind of Mud Boys, you're going to struggle, of course. Here, we're going to see also one interesting thing about this team. We're running Sludge Wave on the Tentacruel. He was running Sludge Wave on the Tentacruel, so we do it as well. And so, first game, we kind of can showcase the benefits of this team, and we can move on to the second opponent here. So, here's one awkward thing about this, though. Basically, for Whiscash in the lead, you can decide to stay in here. In my opinion, at least, I kinda like to swap out into my say-sub of the Tentacruel. Tentacruel, in my opinion, is a little bit of a better say-sub just because I feel like it's a little bit safer to go for. But let's see if the opponent is going to call the Sludge Wave here on the Guzzlord. It is going to be an interesting one. They actually do call it, which I find quite interesting, because the standard moveset for Tentacruel would be, of course, the poison move of Acid Spray instead of the poison move of Sludge Wave. But Sludge Wave is going to give you usually some benefit here. I did not expect that we're going to get the debuff. If I didn't get the debuff, I would have most likely been able to go for another Sludge Wave against the opponent's Guzzlord, but it is what it is. We can still hopefully come back from this, but it is going to be way more difficult. If I even went for the Scald, I would have been in a better spot, because it would have been an easier farm down for my Toxapex. But they swap out into the Skarmory, and I go for a charge move here, which maybe was a little bit of a mistake, but maybe we can still utilize this a little bit. As we will see, the opponent going for their own charge move, it's going to be a Sky Attack, and they go for another one afterwards as well. It's very likely going to be a Brave Bird. It is going to be another Sky Attack, and this is actually going to be a little bit more awkward, because I have to basically try to risk everything here at this point. I'm gonna go ahead and go for a Mud Bomb, and this perfectly doesn't knock them out, and we can get the maximum amount of farm here with our Whiscash. So, great for us at this point, but it's still not going to be over. But they have a perfect Pokemon for us in the back. It's going to be the Dragalge, and Dragalge is not really something that wants to go up against the Whiscash. We still should be in a range where Awkward Tail doesn't knock us out either, and so we're going to be in a great spot as we can reach the next Mud Bomb in time before they even go for a charge move, and so this is going to be it. Whiscash is going to sweep the entire team from the opponent. Like, honestly, Whiscash is completely going through the opponent's team, and we can move on to the next one. So, let's see what they're going to run. Talonflame, oh, that's going to be lovely. Still, what I would recommend here is to just go for 7 fast moves here and then swap out afterwards into the Tentacruel, because you kinda really need to keep all the health as possible on your Whiscash. And here, this will allow us to drop the opponent's attack. They can go for a fly if they want to, but they will never reach another charge move with their Talonflame, so that's going to be great, especially as they're going to not even swap out anyway. In comes Charger Bug, and this is perfect. This is kind of how this team is supposed to work. As we can go for a Scald, we can hope for a debuff here as well. Let's see if we're gonna get it. We do get it, which is going to be crucial, as now they do way less damage against our own Whiscash. I can let the move go through. They're forced to still go for a Discharge as well, which is great for us. And we will see what they have in the back. It's going to be the Ferrothorn, and I somehow miscounted this one here because the opponent got a free fast move in, which is actually going to be a little bit of an awkward one, because Ferrothorn is a core breaker for this team. Like, there is not a lot that you can really do about it. They are running Thunder as well. Should most likely use the shield there on the first one already. This was maybe a little bit of a mistake by me. But I'm going to use a second shield here as the opponent goes for another Thunder. So it's going to be great for me to shield this one up. I can go for a Sludge Wave. It's going to be the better move to go for here. Both are single resisted, but this is going to do a little bit more damage. And we can try to go for a Brine, which is going to force a shield very likely from the opponent now. And we can try to catch a move, but they swap out into their own charger bug, and now I can at least still go ahead, take a move here, but they're going to get it to 2 X's. So it's going to be a very close matchup for us, as the opponent is going to go for the next one. We are forced to use a shield. I cannot really risk it too much here. I'm going to overfarm by a little bit. I don't know if they would have got to another X's after the next one, because I didn't really want to try to risk the full farm, but it doesn't matter anyway, as the opponent is going to decide to go for a charge move with their Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn going to knock us out. Can we get the Brine in time? We cannot. Like, I did not want to go for the CMP tile because I know I lose it, and so it doesn't really matter here. They're sadly going to win. It is what it is. We can move on to the next opponent. I feel like there was potential to win that game, but yeah, it is okay. Skarmory again, like, I actually don't really enjoy this one too much. It is not a bad matchup for this team in general. Like, every Pokemon resists the fast move of Skarmory. But here, yeah, basically I'm always going to try to catch a move. I'm going to decide to let this move go through as well. It is going to be the Brave Bird again. But they swap out into a Vigoroth, and this can be kind of nice. And honestly, I decided to go for a shield here because I feel like it is worth it. They're still forced to go for a charge move against me. I still do some quite decent fast move damage against them as well. And they decide to go for a Rock Slide for whatever reason. But we're going to get the attack drop, and that's great. So we're going to get them into a range where we most likely get the full Mud Shot down against them. But I am not even going to go for that. I'm going to go 2 shields down, which I feel like in this scenario now does not make any sense at all. So most likely don't try this at home. I don't think this is going to be a great play by me. But yeah, I don't know what I expect in the back here, but it is going to be great because the opponent cannot go for the full farm down somehow here. And so I can go for another charge move. It is going to get the attack drop. This attack drop is crucial, like literally so important to get this. This might be a little bit too risky. I should have went for Brian very likely here because, yeah, like they have 2 shields, like somewhere they're going to use it anyway. But does it really matter is going to be the question. They decided to go for Dark Pulse, and because of the debuff prior, it is not going to do a lot of damage. We can try to go for a Brian now, which is going to get the final shield of the opponent. And so they might be able to knock me out with the incoming Dark Pulse, but it's just going to be a body slam, and so we still survive. They swap out, and now we have to try to catch a move. And we can't. And this was an issue. This was definitely a little bit of a trickier one. If I just stayed in, most I would have been fine. But they go for the Brave Bird. And so they cannot get to another charge move. And so we can go for a Mud Bomb and win this game. Moving on, we're going to encounter here the Skarmory in the lead again, and what a surprise, like honestly, like Skarmory lead is basically everywhere. It is kind of madness, but let's see here what we can do. We can try to go for a Scald eventually, but we're going to decide to use a shield first. This is going to be the Sky Attack, so a great play by the opponent, but we can still play out the lead matchup. Like there's quite a variety of what you can do for the lead matchup here in general. We're going to see the attack drop is coming through. I can go for another Scald. Could have even tried to bank the Scald for later on, but it's very likely that they're going to go for a Brave Bird next, and so I try to catch a move this time around as well here, but they decide to swap out, and here we're going to have a little bit of an issue for this team because Quagsire is in the back, and we really want to get a debuff here. If we don't get a debuff, it's going to be very brutal for us. And we don't get the debuff. 50% chance, and so it is kind of fair that we didn't get it here, I would say. But it is going to be very tricky because now Stone Edge is going to two-shot us, which it would have not done before. And I did not expect that I would win the CMP tie here and get to another move in time. So if we got the debuff, this would have been a completely different game. And this is also why I just dislike Scald. Like, I just really dislike Scald because, yeah, like I had like people before like complaining about me, complaining about the odds or whatever. But basically, if you get it, everything is fine. If you don't get it, everything is horrible. So like the difference is so ginormous between matchups just on a 50% coin flip, and it just does not really make the game like be fun or whatever. And yes, there is RNG in the main CS games as well, with like moves that have like 70% accuracy or like Focus Blast or even like Hypnosis or whatever with like 60% accuracy. But there's basically next to never really a coin toss. And the thing is for the main series games as well is that if you're going to run something that is a coin toss, which there are some moves sometimes that are viable, that are coin toss moves basically, then you kind of usually have a different strategy that also works on the side. And here, it's basically the main strategy of the Pokemon is a coin toss, and this is just not really making the game fun. So I really hope that Scald gets nerfed for the next season. That's definitely something that I hope for. But Toxapex, still a very bulky boy. We are forced to use a shield here. We have to hope that we can still farm them down. Can we still win this game? I doubt it, but actually we still can, and we can move on to the next opponent. Whiskers in the lead is going to be a matchup that I kind of like because this is going to be exactly where we wanted. We can actually win the CMP tie, which is interesting to see because you see my IVs on the right side. We have a 0, 8, 12 variant of the Whiskers. So we have 0 attack and the opponent goes to Scott and doesn't get the debuff. This will allow us to go for another one, but they swap out into the Mantine. And that's lovely for us. We can basically force them to go for aerial ace because everything else is going to be resisted here, but also we do neutral damage the entire time, and we have way more bulk than the opponent, and Poison Jab does usually do a little bit more damage than the wing attack does, so we're going to be in a great matchup basically. We can go for the Sludge Wave. The opponent decides to use a shield here, which I am totally happy about, because even if they're going to be able to knock me out here somehow in this matchup, I'm just going to farm them down with my Tentacruel, and I'm going to be happy about this. Like, it's going to be totally fine for me, because then the Scald is going to still hurt quite a bit against the opponent's Whiskers, and we're going to be in a decent spot. So, here, the opponent still forced to go for another charge move. It's going to be the Aerial Ace, but they even have a funny idea, because looking at the HP, why just not go for the Mudshot down? We are not the Shadow variant of Whiskers, so we can easily take a move, and Aerial Ace is not going to hurt us too much, but we're going to end up at exactly 100 energy. In comes the Vigoroth, which is a little bit of a trickier one. We can go for one Scald, we can swap out immediately, keep one Scald for laydown, and they swap out into the Whiskers, and I feel like this was maybe not the right idea. I really feel like it was not the right idea. I think if I decided to go into my Tentacruel against the Mantine, I might have had a little bit of an easier time here at the end of the day, but yeah, now I'm going to be in a tough spot, and you know what's also kind of funny? At this point, I thought I still had a shield left, and I have literally no idea where I even used it or like why I thought it, but I thought at this point I have a shield left, so I'm totally fine just going up a little bit in terms of energy and not having to throw, like having to throw on the Mud Bomb or whatever, and I should be totally easily winning this game here, right? And so, if you wonder why I didn't decide to go for the Scald here, which is my only player winning this game, kinda feel like, because I only get to one charge move anyway, I just thought I had a shield the entire time and was super confused about that I didn't, and so yeah, Scald would have been the right call here for sure. I don't think it would have knocked them out anyway, but it would have been definitely way closer. Maybe it actually would have knocked them out, because like the first Scald hit them with like 0 prior damage, so maybe it actually would have been enough, which would have been funny of course, but yeah, like this was my own mistake, because I thought the entire time I still had a shield left. So, in comes, we're going to have another Scummery. I just don't like Scummery, honestly. I just don't really like Scummery. They decided to go for a Brave Bird. This time around I went for a shield because I was, yeah, they were not debuffed. And so here in comes our best friend, the Mud Boy Whiskers, not Whiskers, the Mud Boy Quagsire here again, which is going to be a little bit of a trickier one for us. We can go for a Scald, try to get a debuff. We do not get a debuff again. I feel like in general, I think my debuff like was around like 40% if I would guess it, in terms of how often I got the debuff and how often I didn't. And most of the time where it was really important, I didn't get it. So most likely also not the luckiest with this team, of course, with Scald being the main thing for this team. You kind of rely a lot of times on like a luck as well, but it is what it is. Here we're going to be able to go for a Mud Bomb. They decided to let this go through. It is going to be a Dragonite in the back, and honestly, I remember this game again, and I don't know what was really going on while I was playing this team here, because as you're gonna see, the opponent goes for the Sky Attack, totally fine. We can let the move go through. We can go for the Brine here now as well. Could have maybe went for one more fast move just in case I try to go for a Brave Bird. But here at this point I was able to go for another Brine even, which is totally fine. We are going to be in a very decent spot. I can let the next move go through from the opponent. It's going to be very likely just a Sky Attack, because they're gonna be able to go for 2 most likely. And so I actually decided to use a shield. It's going to be a Brave Bird, and here I go straight for the Sludge Wave. Why did I do this? Because I thought the opponent would have been without any shields at this point. So, like, I don't know what was really happening for me when I played this team, but I could have played this so much smarter. I could have swapped out, for example, immediately into my Whiskers, try to get the debuff onto them, and then have a way better time for me later on, but I didn't. And so, we're going to lose this one. Final one for today, we're going to have here the Vigoroth against us in the lead, so we can swap out into a Tentacruel. I can let the first move go through. Yes, Scald has the chance to debuff, but it's very likely that they're going to swap out eventually, so that's going to be better for us. Sludge Wave is going to connect. This is going to do some decent damage against them. It doesn't really put them into range where we can knock them out yet, but they might be forced to throw a charge move against me, which they do, which I'm going to take. I am forced to go back into my Toxapex here basically just to get the full farm down, because otherwise, like, we are not going to be able to really do anything with Mud Bomb or Scald against them. So Poison Jab is the way to go. We can take a move easily. Sky Attack does around 25% damage, and we can just get a ton of energy here. They swap back into the Vigoroth, which is kind of great for me, but it kind of makes me fear that there might be something like a Bomber Snow in the back. And so I decided to swap out, catch a move here, just in case it is going to be that Obama Snow in the back. It is going to be a Body Slam coming through here. It is going to be a Tropius. So I was kinda right, I guess. It was going to be like a Grass-type Pokemon. But interesting here is that we were able to get the debuff first with a Scald, and they decide to overfarm a little bit too much maybe. I can go for another Scald, try to force another debuff onto them, so we might be even able to survive a charge move onto our Toxapex a little bit easier. And I'm going to let this move go through. They decide to completely undercharge it, but this was a little bit too much because their fast move damage is now debuffed as well. We're going to be able to survive it and get to another Scald, and we are getting another debuff. And so it would be silly to to use a shield here on the Leaf Blade because they're going to swap out eventually anyway and clear the debuff, which you're gonna see now. It would be silly to go for a charge move here because at the end of the day, like, they still have 2 shields, and I don't think that I'm gonna get to 3 charge moves against the opponent's Tropius. And so we are going to hope that they don't get to another charge move in time. Can we still win this game? We can. And this is going to be it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.